For years, Nick NMPLOL was one of Twitch's most recognizable personalities. To many viewers, he was the funny morning streamer who always seemed to be live, whether he was cooking with Malena, traveling, hosting events, or simply talking to chat. But the story of how he got there is much more interesting than most people realize. Nick grew up in Michigan and, like many early Twitch streamers, spent countless hours playing World of Warcraft. At the time, live streaming wasn't the massive industry it is today. Most people streamed because they loved games, not because they expected to make a living from it. During those early years, Nick met another World of Warcraft player who would completely change the direction of his career, Chance Morris, better known as Soda Poppin. By the early 2000s, Soda Poppin had become one of Twitch's biggest stars. His personality, humor, and World of Warcraft content attracted hundreds of thousands of viewers. As Nick and Chance became friends, Nick naturally started appearing around Soda's community. More people discovered him, and his own audience slowly began to grow. Unlike many creators who explode overnight, Nick's growth was gradual. For years, he streamed to relatively small audiences while experimenting with different games and content. Eventually, he made the decision to stream full-time. As Twitch itself exploded in popularity, Nick's channel grew alongside it. One of the biggest turning points came when he moved to Austin, Texas. Austin was quickly becoming the center of Twitch. Many of the platform's biggest creators either lived there already or were moving there. Living near Soda Poppin meant more collaborations, more exposure, and becoming part of one of Twitch's most influential friend groups. Around this time, Nick also met Malena Tudi. Originally from Norway, Malena eventually moved to the United States, and together they created the content that many viewers would come to know and love. Their streams weren't just about gaming anymore. They cooked together, traveled together, argued, laughed, planned events, and essentially invited viewers into their everyday lives. Their chemistry became one of the biggest reasons people tuned in. Eventually, Nick became known as Twitch's morning streamer. While many large creators streamed later in the day, Nick consistently went live early, making his channel one of the first places viewers visited every morning. As his popularity continued to rise, another huge opportunity arrived. In 2020, Nick became one of the founding members of One True King, better known as OTK. Alongside creators like Asmongold, Ms. Keefe, Esfand, Rich Campbell, and Tips Out, OTK quickly became one of Twitch's largest content organizations. Nick wasn't just another member. He helped organize events, participated in large productions, and became known for community-driven content like cooking streams, game shows, and eventually projects such as Shit Camp. At this point, everything seemed to be going perfectly. His channel was thriving, OTK was growing, his relationship with Malena appeared incredibly popular. Fans viewed them as one of Twitch's favorite couples. But behind the scenes, things weren't as perfect as they appeared. In 2024, Nick and Malena publicly announced that they had ended their relationship. Although they initially described the breakup respectfully, it didn't take long before public discussions surrounding the relationship began to grow. Over time, both Nick and Malena made public statements about aspects of their relationship, and members of the streaming community added their own opinions. As often happens with large internet personalities, facts, personal accounts, rumors and speculation became mixed together across social media. The breakup alone significantly changed how many viewers saw Nick. Then came additional public drama involving other streamers, including disagreements that drew even more attention to his reputation. Community discussions became increasingly divided, with some defending Nick while others became highly critical of his decisions and public responses. Whether fairly or unfairly, the image that many viewers once had of NMPLOL had changed. The creator, who had built a reputation as one of Twitch's most entertaining and consistent streamers, was now frequently being discussed because of controversy rather than content. That's one of the harsh realities of internet fame. Building a reputation can take over a decade. Changing it can happen in only a few months. Today, NMPLOL continues to stream, but the conversation around him is very different from what it was during the peak of his career. His story serves as a reminder of how quickly public perception can change online, especially when personal relationships and public controversies become intertwined with a creator's career. Whether his reputation will recover remains to be seen. But one thing is certain. The rise of NMPLOL helped define an era of Twitch, and the events that followed have become one of the platform's most talked about stories. The end of Nick and Malena's relationship became one of the most widely discussed breakups in the Twitch community. After the separation, Malena went completely silent, asking NMPLOL to not weaponize his public statements as an influencer against her. Some recent leaks from the court case, though, speaks louder than his words about their relationship and finances. Among her claims were that she did not have any financial support in any way, regardless the fact that she was working for him, that she was not included on certain shared financial accounts, and that she felt unsupported during periods when she was caring for her mother, who was battling cancer. These statements were widely circulated online and sparked extensive discussion among viewers. Nick has disputed aspects of the public narrative surrounding their relationship, and not every claim made online has been independently verified. As a result, much of the discussion remains based on the differing accounts of the two people involved, rather than findings established by a court or other independent process. The timing of Nick's subsequent relationship also became a point of criticism among some viewers, because it appeared relatively soon after the end of a relationship that had lasted roughly a decade. Some members of the community viewed it as evidence that he had moved on unusually quickly. Others argued that the public did not know when the relationship actually began, or what had happened privately before the breakup. Regardless of where viewers stood, the breakup fundamentally changed Nick's public image. What had once been seen as one of Twitch's most popular couples became the subject of months of online debate, with supporters and critics dissecting nearly every public statement made by either side. Malena looks definitely like a victim in this case, from the start to the end. She was only 16 years old when she met Nick, and he was almost in his mid-20s. Let that sink in.